Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Kira and I have two children in here. I have two kids. Both of my kids are in here, so please be mindful of that. And today I'm gonna guess you gave that to him. It's whatever, it's fine. He can play with your toys. Don't get mad because you gave it to him. Alright, so today we are going to be doing a makeup and mystery, and we're going to be covering the Golden State Killer. So the Golden State Killer was able to elude capture for so long, and he was responsible for 13 murders, 50 rapes, and 120 burglaries across California between the years of 1974 and 1986. I'm actually on the Wikipedia page, so I want to go ahead and read off the other names that the Golden State Killer is known by, because there are a lot. And this is such a unique case, because there's not a case like this where you have a serial killer who is connected to so many different serial killer nicknames. So the Visala Ransacker, the East Area Rapist, the East Side Rapist, the East Bay Rapist, the Creek Bed Killer, Diamond Knot Killer, the Night Stalker, the Original Night Stalker, Arons, and Golden State Killer. So if you're curious, I will leave the Wikipedia page I am using just down below in the description box, so you can go ahead and check that off and recite it if you want to. If I don't, when I post this, just make a comment and remind me, and I'll go back and I'll redo it. So how the Golden State Killer was able to elude capture for so long is the fact that this man was actually a police officer. It was speculated that he actually was a police officer for a while, because it seemed like the Golden State Killer actually had inside information, because the police would try to set up stings and try to capture him, and they would try to guess where he would hit next, and he would actually hit somewhere else across town. So it was kind of obvious that he had police insider information, so it seemed obvious that he was a police officer. Golden State Killer was sentenced to 12 life sentences plus 8 years, so he's never getting out, honestly. And to be completely honest, he wasn't captured until 2018, April 24th of 2018. We'll get into how they actually found him. And he committed these crimes in the 70s and 80s, so that's how long he was able to elude police. So let's actually talk. I know this looks horrible, but I'll work it out. But anyways, let's talk about how they originally caught him. So they had DNA evidence, they just were never able to match it, because think about it, DNA evidence, like CODIS and stuff like that, just wasn't the same as it is now, as it was back then. It's way more advanced is what I'm trying to get at. So I don't blame the police for not being able to do anything until the FBI announced that they were reopening the case in 2016, which is great that they decided to reopen it, because there was a lot of hype around this case due to the Michelle McNamara's book. I think I said her name right. Well, she actually unfortunately passed away before she saw the Golden State Killer get apprehended, so that sucks, but I'm sure she is extremely happy that the Golden State Killer was finally apprehended, because that's really all we want, is criminals behind bars. So, they had DNA evidence, they were just never able to match it to anybody. But, did you know that when you do that genealogy stuff, the police can actually take your DNA and test it against crimes? I didn't know that, and I don't have any issue with it. I'm sure other people do, but I don't have an issue with it. But they actually had identified the Golden State Killer through one of his relatives through this genealogy website, which is just crazy. So on June 29th, 2020, Joseph D'Angelo is the man's name. He pled guilty to all charges. So that 12 life sentences plus 8 years was actually a deal that he took, because he pled guilty, so he took a deal. Because that's usually what happens to avoid going to trial. You know, an innocent man's not going to plead guilty. And another thing is, an innocent man's DNA would not be at the crime scene. I've been watching a lot of Steve Wilkos lately, and we have, like, there's so many people on that show that are like, I pled guilty, but I'm innocent. No. If I'm innocent, I'm taking my chances, and I'm gonna appeal to the court, like, appeal to the courts every chance I get. So he did get life without parole, so he will always be in there, and I do believe to this day he is still alive, and he is still incarcerated, because he's gonna die in prison. Something else I found interesting was the name Golden State Killer is probably the one that is most famously associated with this case, and it actually was not a name for him until Michelle McNamara's book. Which, that is really, really cool. I think that is so cool that she wrote a book because she was so obsessed with this case. And she gave him a nickname that actually ended up sticking. So, he was an active police officer from May 1973 to August of 1976. So, not his whole time that he was active, but a big part of when the Golden State Killer was active was during these times when he was a police officer. So it says on the wiki page he served in Auburn from August 1976 to July 1979 when he was arrested for shoplifting a hammer and dog repellent. He was sentenced to 6 months of probation and fired that October. And it says during the process of being fired, he threatened to kill the chief of police and allegedly stalked the police chief's house. Yeah. So, my original assessment of the Golden State Killer and Joseph DeAngelo was that I thought he was just, like, a mentally ill person who just did some really bad crimes. But after researching this case, it really, really seems like my assessment was wrong. And it seems more like he's just an evil person. Okay, so the first recorded ransacking occurred from the Visala ransacker, which is the Golden State Killer. That was his breeding grounds. Like, that was his first thing. In March 19th, 1974, when a sum of $50 in coins was stolen from a piggy bank. So, on September 11th, great day, 1975, DeAngelo broke into the home of Claude, I hope I'm saying that right, Snelling, who was 45 at the time, and he was a journalism professor at a college, and he was murdered. Honestly, he was murdered. And I know when I was reading earlier, I had seen that he had pled guilty to this murder because that was the only murder he had done during, like, the time of the ransacking. So because, like, the statute of limitations has expired on the ransackings, they couldn't convict him of burglary. But they could still convict him of Mr. Snelling's murder. Which, that's great that they were able to convict him on at least something. I mean, he did get 12 life sentences. So, in case you couldn't tell, I was obviously being sarcastic about the September 11th date. Obviously I was being sarcastic about that. I know people are assholes online, but I have been through a lot in my life, and sarcasm is all I have. So, the East Area Rapist was the next step up from the Visala ransacker, and he was active from the years 1976 to 1979. And the East Area Rapist happened in the Sacramento area. He had moved to Sacramento in 1976, where his crimes escalated from burglary to rape. So this is where he started his rape spree, which was like 50 rapes, if I remember correctly. I mean, honestly, this is, he is probably, the most crimes that any criminal has ever really had at this point. He's been known by so many names, and, they thought that these were all different people at one point, so they weren't even connected. I mean, I'm looking at this, and, there is 6 different sketches of the possible, East Area Rapists, and they look, none of them look alike at all. So it's no wonder they weren't able to catch this guy. So there is a report saying that DeAngelo repeatedly said during a rape, "I hate you, Bonnie," during a 1978 attack, which was the 37th attack. I believe Bonnie was actually, DeAngelo's, fiance or something, and she left him. I don't know why, but I do believe that that's who Bonnie is, if I remember correctly. By the way, I'm using Go Commando from Wet n Wild. They're 5K, and this is one of my more favorite ones. It's just got really warm tones in it, and I did plan the warm tone look around the idea of the Golden State Killer, because golden, warm tones, gold, warm tones. So I did plan this. So I'm getting better about shit. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this look, and I'm like, oh god. I hope it turns out okay, because I have other videos to do today. I have other shit I have to do. Okay, so here's something important that I see. The East Area Rapists operated in Sacramento County from the first attacks in June 1976 until May 1977. After a 3-month gap, he struck in nearby San Joaquin, I hope I'm saying that right, County, in September before returning to Sacramento for all but one of the next 10 attacks. If you are curious about dates and times, there is dates and times listed on the Wikipedia website. Okay, so next up is the acronym he went by after the East Area Rapist, which was the original Night Stalker. So he's the original Night Stalker, whereas Richard Ramirez was the Night Stalker, I believe. So the original Night Stalker was active between the years of 1979 and 1986. So D'Angelo really had over 10 years of just criminal crime sprees, which is just so crazy. I mean, how many criminals do you know that are active for over 10 years? So, shortly after the rape committed on July 5th, 1979, D'Angelo moved to Southern California and began killing his victims, first striking in Santa Barbara County in October. And the attacks lasted until 1981 with a lone 1986 attack. So actually 1981, so almost 10 years. And then in 1986 he attacked again. That's crazy to be inactive for 5 years. Like, that's really crazy. So I find this amazing. In December of 1977, someone claiming to be the East Area Rapist sent a poem, Excitement's Crave, to the Sacramento Bee, the Sacramento Mayor's Office, and television station KVIE. So, what is with people, like, when you're, like, a criminal, boasting about it? Because I've seen, like, multiple cases where they boasted about it to police. So he actually had multiple accounts where he had communications with the police. So he was basically, like, taunting them, and that's just, like, so crazy. Oh my gosh, there's even phone calls. One said, I'm the East Side Rapist, you're never gonna catch me, Merry Christmas to the police. Like, that's crazy. I mean, like, what is the point in taunting police like that? Like, that is just so weird. Like, that is weird. It's weird that he sent letters, but it's even weirder that he contacted them and he was working with them. Well, I think corrected. I don't think he was actually working on the cases, but he was working with police. He was married to Sharon Marie Huddle in 1973, and they divorced in 2019. I think, like, the idea was that people thought that maybe he was upset and that is why he started killing people. Like, he started attacking, raping, and killing people. But he was married to somebody when he started attacking people. He was already married. I think another common note in the theory is that people think that maybe whenever he fought with his wife is when he went out and attacked people and he attacked women. I don't know why he jumped up from burglary to rape to murder. Like, that's what's crazy to me. But remember in one of the attacks he said, I hate you, Bonnie, but his wife's name is Sharon? So after his arrest, one of his sisters actually came forward and said that he was abused by their father while growing up. I'm not saying that that is an excuse or is any even reason to do the things he did. But it definitely should be a factor in on people trying to figure out his mentality behind this. Another part I want to say into this is another thing that's in the Wikipedia page, and it said that when D'Angelo was a small child, he witnessed his 7-year-old sister's rape by 2 airmen in a warehouse in West Germany, where his family was stationed at the time. And You know, I don't know how much of this I truly believe. That is why I saved those last 2 facts for last, is because I don't know how much I truly believe them, because it could be his family completely making stuff up just to try and get him off or get him out of a little bit of trouble, because he's serving 12 life sentences. He pled guilty. I mean, he is going to be in there for the rest of his life, and he's like in his 70s, so he's going to die in prison, so there's nothing that they can really do. But they could be trying to make it more sympathetic for him. I don't really know, but anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you guys think about this case, and I'm going to end it here, and see you guys in the next one. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. All that social media great stuff, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Also, I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know, I downloaded a editor, and I think I'm going to start actually full-on editing my videos and putting pictures in if possible for these makeup and mysteries, and yeah, I'm really excited to try to figure out how to use it and to fuck up a lot. And we will see you in tomorrow's video. Ain't that right, baby? He's not feeling good. I had to chase him down to give him his medicine today. He's not feeling good. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. I'm gonna go snuggle my boys. So, bye guys.